Hey guys, my name is Ambika and all of you are here with me on Unacademy's YouTube channel, which is Let's Crack CBSE Commerce. Hi Ankit. Yeah, so before diving deep into our today's topic, let me tell a bit about Unacademy, what Unacademy is all about, and why all of you are required. Are like genuinely, it's like a suggestion actually that why all of you are required to register yourself with Unacademy, because the first and the foremost thing are like because exams are around the corner, and that's the right reason to enroll yourself. And herein, hi Shashwat, and herein on top of it, you will going to see that how these lectures, these videos are helping you out in understanding and grabbing the whole sort of knowledge when it comes to gaining or when it comes to understanding the whole concept. So herein we have got the two subscriptions. The first one is a plus subscription. In that we have got the daily live classes, wherein, hi Jigyasa, you can chat with your educators, you can engage in discussions, ask numerous doubts and answer polls like how we have that in KBC, right? So that, I mean, all these things are pretty possible when the session is live and the session is active. Next thing is we have got the live tests and quizzes. That means you can evaluate your preparation with our regular mock tests and quizzes, because we aren't so sure till the time we attend a similar kind of a question. We aren't that much certain that we have understood the topic or not. So that's wherein we have got the mock tests and quizzes. Structured courses are there, because that due to pandemic few chapters are being eliminated, so that ways we have also planned our academic content for you in a way that it deals with how CBSE wants that to be done. And once you get the subscription of our Unacademy, you can check out numerous live and recorded sessions, and all these things are possible on your device, that too at the ease, at the comfort of your house. Yeah. So what all things you're going to get: daily live classes, structured courses, live tests and quizzes, and unlimited access. So that was all about plus. Then comes our Iconic. Iconic has let me tell you in a very clear-cut manner that it has redefined, it has given another dimension and level and definition to the whole process of learning and teaching. Yeah, you know why? Because herein you have the personal mentor. So with this personal mentor, you can get one-on-one guidance, and this is like a top-notch expert, and wherein you can resolve your doubts, your concerns with this personal mentor. Live doubt solution lectures are there. There is a parent connect, so that your parents will be very much sure what all classes you have attended, how many sessions you have taken, what is the status of your quizzes, where are you standing up, where are you landing up in those tests and quizzes. So that's the best thing about the parent connect. Yeah. Next, we have got all the benefits of plus here on your Iconic subscription. Then comes our educators. I will fall short of words if I'll start describing our educators. They are the top-notch educators who are like demigods, who are like the superheroes, who are here to help you out, who are here to sort out all your queries, all your doubts, and they are the best in their own specific streams in the fields. So please guys, do download this app. It's too easy. All you need to do is go to your Play Store, type Unacademy Learning app. This is how it will going to look like, and install. Yeah. Next thing turns up. How will I come to know which session is there by which educator, what all time, and what sessions, what topics they're going to cover? So to handle this query, we have got our own Telegram channel. With the name of the channel is Quest 12 CBSE Commerce. So therein all the relevant information will be shared with all of you. Yeah, so in Iconic, we have got the best educators, interactive live classes, live tests and quizzes, and Creative Corner, which is part of your plus as well. In Creative Corner, as CBSE doesn't want to create robots, it wants to create rather humans who are amazing with almost every spectrum of living a better life. That ways, it actually have those in schools we have debate competition, writing competition, dance and music competition. So that ways we have got our own Creative Corner, wherein we will going to teach you origami, robotics, and creative writing and other things. And these things will be covered by the top experts. In Iconic, you have all these things of plus. Along with that, personal mentor, lived out solution, parent connect, and study planner. Right, guys? So that is the cart value of each, month wise. That's for like 1 month, it's 2,700, and accordingly. And if you are really excited, so you can use my code, which is Ambika, to get a discount of 10%. That's the cart value of your Iconic. And with these also, you can use this code, which is Ambika, which is my name, and you will surely going to get a discount of 10%. With this, it's time to begin with our revision, that is of the chapter Mother's Day. Yeah. So, let me tell you one thing very clearly, guys, that from this day onwards, I am going to cover all the chapters of your book snapshots right on YouTube. So wherein we will going to check out the NCERT questions, the character analysis, and the themes of the chapter. And once we are done with this, together we're going to sort out, together we're going to see the MCQs. So yeah, that's the plan. This play is being written by J.B. Priestley, as you already know. So please remember his name. I have already taught this chapter in detail here on YouTube, there on special class, so you can check it out. Yes, J.B. Priestley was a British novelist, a playwright, and an essayist who has written numerous dramas and plays in his lifetime. Now, here comes the gist of the story, which is the Mother's Day. Yeah, the play written by J.B. Priestley reveals how a mother's efforts are ignored by her family. It narrates how the family members also work 8-hour shifts a day, look upon her although she works for the whole day and all week. So as agar aap log ne chapter padha hai, so you must be very much accustomed what this chapter is trying to convey to you. So that's talk about how mother's efforts are being ignored by her own family. The narrator here talks about the family members who go out, who earns money, and who simply works for simply 8 hours in a day, and that's wherein the mother who stays back home works throughout the time. After all she does for them, they take her for granted, and whatever work she do for them, whatever work she performs for them, they take it for granted. They believe that it's her duty and she's obliged to do that. They make her feel obliged, obligated to provide for them, and do not even appreciate her efforts. And this mother who works day in, day out, weeks, months, years and years for all the family members, nobody takes her seriously. Forget about taking her seriously. Nobody dares to appreciate her. Hi, Sudha. Yeah, so that's the sad reality of the mothers. Yeah, guys, whenever we read literature, so there is this thing behind it, which is that it has, if we are reading it in the present scenario, that means it has some resemblance with the present time also. So if you are reading, hi Dhruv, if you're reading this chapter in 2021, 2020, that for that matter, because that's how the status of women and status of women, for that matter, status of women in the terms of being a mother is right there. It is right prevalent in today's scenario as well. It revolves around how her friend Mrs Fitzgerald, who is a fortune teller, helps her earn the place and respect she deserves as a woman of the house. So the story goes ahead how Mrs Fitzgerald, who lives next door, who is a neighbor of the family, she helps her in gaining the same respect, getting the same prestige which she ought to have for Hanji Dhruv. This chapter is for grade 11th. Yeah, so that's what she helps in taking back the same respect which she ought to have. Then comes the structure. So there are no acts or scenes, unlike the other dramas wherein we have act 1, scene 1, act 2, scene 2 and things like these. There is no such bifurcation when it comes to this chapter. The entire play is written in one single act. There are only 5 characters in the play. As you already know, there are not a lot of characters in the story. We have got only 5 characters and the whole story revolves around those 5 characters. The play was published in the year 1953. As I've already told you that this play was published in the year 1953. If you are reading in the year 2020 or 21, that means this situation is still prevalent in present scenario in today's society. Yeah, but widely read universally because of its universality. Hi Ankit. Right, so why we are reading it? Because it has got, one can relate with this chapter in the present scenario as well. Setting: play is set in the suburb of London in 1950s. So this whole play is set up in the suburbans of London in the time of 1950s. All the action takes place in the living room of Pearson family. Yeah, so that's what is taking place. The whole action takes through, हम लोग February में 12th standard का start कर देंगे बच्चा. So all the action is taking place in the room of the Pearson family. Characters: they are Mrs. Annie Pearson, George Pearson, Doris, Cyril, and Mrs. Fitzgerald. Right, so these are the characters which we have got in the drama. Now, the theme: gendered roles in the family. Yeah, so allocations of duties according to gender. That how gender plays a pivotal role whenever allocation means giving up, distributing the duties in a family takes place. Families don't appreciate the efforts and work done by mothers, right? And unfortunately, people of the same family do not even appreciate the work, the efforts which is being laden by a woman, and that woman is a mother. They believe that since she is the mother, doing such things is her duty and her duty alone. And that's what we see, that if she's doing this job, if she's taking care of us, because that's her duty, she's obliged to do that. That's what she is right here for, to work for us. And work for us here means to do things for us, and we are not supposed to be thankful for her because it's her duty. She's obliged to do this. Though all the members can do their work on their own, but it is believed that the woman of the family needs to take care of things. Obviously, and that's right there, guys, we all can do our work, but it is being acceptable, it is being mentioned that, not mentioned, but this is taken for granted that these works are supposed to be done by the women of the house, and that is the mother. Members of the family believes and considers that this compulsorily be done by her. They don't even appreciate mother for doing their chores. And honestly, that's a question which we need to ask to ourselves. How many of us goes and say thanks to our mother because, she was doing our work? None of us do that, right? Just because we believe, hi Harsh, just because we believe that this is the work for which she is here for. Hanji Ankit, आज Browning version we have done that chapter already. Done with it. I'm good, Harsh. How are you? Yeah. The stereotypical ideal women. That's it. This play discusses the need for breaking the stereotype of the ideal women. Whom do we consider an ideal woman? Ideal matlab that's the perfect one. So we assume a mother is... मैम आप टुमारो 11 AM पर पोल लोगे ना? हाँ जी हर्ष, कल ब्राउनिंग वर्जन के क्वेश्चन आंसर्स भी देखेंगे एनसीईआरटी, and along with that I'm going to we will going to sort out the MCQs tomorrow. That's the thing, at 11, right? Yeah. So there's a stereotype image of an ideal woman, which is that we assume that the ideal woman is someone who is obedient, right? Who is docile, who is meek, mild-mannered, submissive, and caring. So there's the image. No problem, Ankit, no problem. You can check out the recording there. Yeah. So that's what we believe in. That is typical women. That's a typical stereotype women is not at all allowed to, to smoke, to drink. Rather, she's supposed to be she's supposed to be submissive. She always needs to say yes and yes and yes, and she has to do every chores for others. The other family bosses around. She is not allowed to boss around, but rather the other family members bosses around herself or on the mother. Mrs. Fitzgerald helped Mrs. Pearson to break the stereotype and take a stand for herself. And that's wherein this lady, who actually is a neighbor, helps Mrs. Pearson to break the stereotypical image of this so-called ideal women. Next is position of mother in the family. The play is a satire. Satire means in a comical way. That's what comical way, that means it is making a stark remark, yeah, on the position of mothers in the families. So that's what the people are doing. They are actually pointing out, and that's what J.B. Priestley is doing. He is pointing out the position of mothers in the families, condition of mothers universally, and that is the reality. That's, that is the unfortunate sight of all the mothers across the world. Next comes the characters. The first character is Mrs. Pearson herself. She is in stereotypical ideal mother and housewife. She's meek, she's mild-mannered, obedient and worried looking. She is in her 40s and she remains all the time unhappy because she's been taken for granted by her own family members. Yeah, no one in her family shows respect onto her. Nobody showers respect on our character, which is Mrs. Pearson. Nobody even considers her presence in the house. Yes, everyone orders her to do things, as we already know that everybody bosses around her. She receives no appreciation for the work she does, and nobody pays any sort of appreciation for whatever work she does for them. Everything is considered to be her duty, and that's wherein she took help from Mrs. Fitzgerald. Next is Mrs. Fitzgerald, the second character in our story. So she's a neighbor, yeah. She's older than Mrs. Pearson. She's heavier in her looks and build, and she has a strong, sinister approach. She has got an Irish accent, that means that clearly shows that she was from Ireland. She is the opposite. She is in the dichotomy. She is the exact opposite of the concept of ideal mother. How can we say this? Because she smokes, because she drinks, and an ideal mother is not allowed to do that. Yeah, that is the concept, that is a notion which is being set by the society. She traveled and spent time in East. When we mention East, it has to do some connection with India also, because India was called as a land of snake charmers, right? Ma'am, mine 11th classes were going to start from 18th January. I'm really excited. Oh, okay. So you're not in grade 11, Sudha? Yeah. So that's where in India, because Britishers were ruling us, as you already know, this drama was written in 1945. So that time the Britishers were right here. That's wherein the whole, how India was being treated as a land of snake charmers, a land of superstitious people. So that's wherein Mrs. Fitzgerald, not black magic, but when they swap their personalities, so that's what she learned from East. And here East stands for India, unfortunately. So India को वही consider किया जा रहा है जहाँ पे ये सब black magic और superstitious beliefs होते हैं, जहाँ पे लोग ऐसे personalities change कर लेते हैं. But unfortunately, that's not the reality. She switches bodies with Mrs. Pearson, wants to help Mrs. Pearson to regain her value as the mistress of her own house. And that's the plan, that she wants her neighbor to take back that. Okay, Sudha. Right, okay. So that's wherein she was trying to help her out in gaining the same respect which she was supposed to have. Next comes our next character, which is Doris Pearson. So Doris is a spoiled brat, spoiled child of Pearsons. Yeah, she is in her early 20s. She's a spoiled daughter, and she orders mother to iron her silk. And shocked when she witnesses her mother's behavior towards her. Next is Cyril. Cyril is the son of Pearsons. Yeah, and that's wherein we all can see that he's a spoiled and a disrespectful child, and he again behaves impolitely towards Mrs. Fitzgerald. Yeah, that's what he called her when she was there on the door. George is the husband. He is nearly 50. He is decent and solemn, loved by his friends. Everybody in the club, they mock at him, right? He was shocked to see his wife's behavior when he came back home, and the whole episode of tea took place. So he was so shocked to see his wife's behavior, that how is she replying back to him, and likes to assert the authority that comes with being a man. This chapter also talks about patriarchy, where that means that's how the man behaves in the society. They believe that whatever they are ordering, that has to be done. Why? Just because they are male of the house. This shows that it's a male dominating society. Yeah, so that's why there was no position for women to have there, unfortunately. So that is the simple character sketch which we have checked just now. Right, children? Now we are going to cover few of the NCERT questions which is right there in your book. These are the questions which are based on your own interpretation, right? So they have nothing to do, my answers can be different from yours because it's all about perceptions, right? Post the NCERT questions, we will going to see the MCQs. Okay. This play, written in 1950s, is humorous and satirical depiction of the status of mother in the family. What are the issues which is being raised in the chapter? So you can write something like this. The play, and guys, another thing, you can take the screenshot of this screen so that when you're preparing for your exams, this would play a pivotal role, and you can kind of use these lines to frame your own answer. The play raises many serious issues. The first and foremost is proper appreciation of a housewife's role. Ma'am, is this chapter is important than other chapters? Ankit, see bacha, all the chapters are really important because they are part of your content, that is a part of NCERT. So don't skip out any of the chapters. And in this chapter, you can write a lot of content, right? Kyunki bahut achhe se you all can feel it. So that way, while answering, this chapter would be easy for you. Okay, the first and foremost is proper appreciation of a housewife's roles and responsibilities. Those who work 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week treat the housewife as an unpaid domestic servant who must carry out their orders. They neither request her nor thank her for her services. The second issue is the reciprocity of love and gratitude towards the mother or wife. The husband, son and daughter leave the lady of the house alone every night and go out to enjoy themselves in their several ways. They do not take any notice of her and have become thoughtless and selfish. Right? The mother's excessive love, care and promptness to serve them also spoil them. So that is the chapter all about, it talks about the two serious issues of the present society, which is the housewife's role, that how nobody appreciates whatever work she does. And the second one is that it is about nobody showers love and gratitude. Nobody, whatever work she is doing, nobody showers love onto her, right? And they are all thoughtless whenever every time they go out, and they do not take her along with them. Next is, do you think it caricatures these issues, or do you think that the problem it raises are genuine? Caricatures means that it is being mentioned in a very funny way, in a very jovial way, and it is not genuine. How does the play resolve the issue? Do you agree with the resolution? The problems the play raises are serious. The treatment is of course comic. The playwright adopts an unusual method to resolve the issues. He takes the help of magic of the East. Incantation of a magical spell helps in the interchange of the personalities. Now, Mrs. Pearson, with the strong and sinister personality of Mrs. Fitzgerald, gives rough treatment to the daughter, son, and husband respectively. Her stern means her firm looks and commanding tone suggests to them that she can be really tough. The spoilt mother are brought around by the heavy dose of exposure of reality to them. They agree to stay and help in preparing the supper while the housewife has a talk with her husband. The resolution of the issues seems far-fetched and unnatural, but extreme means have to be adopted in disaster management. So yes, the writer has taken a usage of magic just to set the brains of these characters right onto their mind, right? Ma'am, this question came in exam. Okay, Nidhi. So that ways, if you have attempted it well and good, if you need any help, you can take a screenshot of this particular one, bacha, right? And you can formulate in your own ways also if you feel like, right? So this is how, with the usage of magic, he has sorted out with the problem. Yeah, good evening, Nidhi. And that's how the things were being resolved here. Okay. Next is, if you were to write these issues today, what are some of the incidents, examples, and problems that you would think of as relevant? So again, you can form your own answers. See, in snapshots, you have the luxury, you have the liberty to frame out your own answers, right? Various responses are possible. Yes. Yashika, never ever write your answers in pointers when it comes to literature. That is not acceptable. Yes, bacha, because literature is it is a language study, right? So if you're writing your answers in pointers, it doesn't serve the purpose. So that's not what you're supposed to do, right, Yashika? So always and always write your answers in paragraphs. Yeah, and never ever commit this mistake, never ever commit this error of writing it down that ways. Okay, various responses are possible. One such response is given below. The incidents of unfair treatment of the fair sex at home, at work, in public transport and elsewhere will prove handy. Yes, okay ma'am, learn तो कर सकते हैं ना ma'am. हाँ याशिका, learn करने में there is no harm. The examples of exploitation of female workers with lower wages, harassment by seniors, indecent remarks, eve-teasing and molestation can highlight the problems of social inequality that women face in practice. Even in the 21st century, women face the same problems in spite of the talk of women empowerment. The poor housewives have to bear the physical torment and mental anguish at the hands of bullish husbands who boast of their masculinity by inflicting physical violence, barbs and taunts on the defenseless women. I think that's what I also feel, Nidhi. If anybody would have asked me to write detailed analysis or any question would have popped up from this chapter, because being a feminist, and I can so relate with this chapter, I know what is the status of women out there. So yes, I can do the same. I can also nail this chapter. Break a leg. Examples of rapes and sexual harassment which hug the limelight in daily newspapers can also be included to highlight the problems, high five, of insecurity of women in modern society. So you can talk about that, how this is still prevalent in present scenario. What is the status of women out there? How every day in our daily routine and maintains life, we actually find what is happening to women out there at large. So that's all. You can pick it up from here. The next question is drama a good medium for conveying a social message? Discuss. Again, you can formulate your own answers. I can only suggest that please take the screenshots so that while attempting answers, it would be a great help for all of you. Yes, drama is certainly a good medium for conveying a social message. Direct moralizing is often resented and usually ignored. So when you go and tell to somebody that, dude, you are doing something wrong, nobody accepts that. Drama is a presentation of a slice of life through characters placed in various situations. The attention of the spectators centers around their actions and reactions. Most of them feel fully involved with the protagonist. Protagonist is the one around whom the whole story revolves. The working out of the theme generally leaves a message. Okay, so how, like, what exactly do you feel, Shashwat? I would like to know that. हर्ष कल यूट्यूब पे क्लास नहीं होगी because it's Sakranti, right? So I want to be there on terrace. Okay, the working out of the theme generally leaves a message, sometimes obvious and explicit, but in most of the cases indirect and implicit. The social message of these plays seems to come out of the interactions of the characters and their traits of character. The victory of evil over good is usually portrayed indirectly. These days, we find many plays centered around themes creating social awareness, such as evils of drinking and smoking, dangers of pollution, child labor. Why not? Why not? Why not? Shashwat, if it's okay. If you don't want to be direct about it, you can be a diplomat. No problem. Child labor, decreasing female ratio, and need to empower women. So that's all about the questions based on your NCERT. Yes, now it's time to attempt to those quiz which are part of this chapter. So are we all ready to see those questions, guys? You have done that though multiple times. So yes, let's see. Let's just check it out. I hope all of you knows how you have to attempt it. So for one question, if you believe answer B is the correct, so that's how you need to write. For two, if you believe that C is the correct one, so that's how you need to write. No, Shashwat, no Menti. It didn't function well for me. I didn't like it. So that way is no Menti. We have got, that's what you need to do. Write in the comment section. Okay. The first question. Who is the writer of the play Mother's Day? A.J. Cronin, William Wordsworth, Patrick Pingle, J.B. Priestley. Come on, write in the comment box ASAP. I'm waiting. Who is the writer? Okay, right, Nidhi. What about the others in the class? Can I expect answers from all of you? Okay, Yashika. Bacha, please write it this way, 1A or 1B. That means I'll be sure that you have written for the one. Okay. Right, Ankit, Sudha, Yashika and Nidhi. Indeed, that's the correct one. That's J.B. Priestley. Perfect. Second question. What does the play Mother's Day talk about? Yeah. What does the play Mother's Day talk about? Status of the mother in the family, status of father in the family, status of children in the family, or status of the family in the society. The chapter itself is very clear. There is no doubt for sure. Okay. Okay. Nidhi, Ankit, very good. With what option my other kids are going with? Right, Sudha and Yashika. Indeed, that's the correct one. Status of the That is status of the mother in the family. Yes, that's the correct one. Next question. How does the author describe Mrs. Fitzgerald? It's about Mrs. Fitzgerald, children. Please, please, please note. Worried looking, sinister looking, has a deep voice, or both B and C. What do you think is the correct answer for this particular question? Okay. What about the other scholars in my class? Right, Yashika. Okay, Sudha. Right, Nidhi and Yashika. Okay. 3D. Very good, very good. Okay, Hanji, that's the correct one, which is she was both sinister looking and she did have a deep voice. Okay. Next question. Mrs. Fitzgerald is a dash of Mrs. Pearson. So what was the relationship between these two women? They were relatives. They were neighbors, they were that she was a maid, or none of the above? Okay. Right. That's correct. What about the others? Right, Yashika and Nidhi. That she was the neighbor of Mrs. and oh God. Mrs. Pearson. Okay. It's wonderful having a real dash living next door. Complete the dialogue. So it's wonderful having a real doctor. It's wonderful having a real writer. It's wonderful. Okay, Shashwat, we're on fifth question now. It's wonderful having a good fortune teller or having a chef. Okay, right, Shashwat, though. Can you please attempt the fifth question now? It's wonderful having a real doctor, writer, fortune teller, or a chef. Yashika, sorry, Bacha, that's not the correct one. That's not the answer. Fifth B is not the correct one. Yeah, it's wonderful having a real. Oops, okay. So that's the fortune teller. Yeah, that's what Mrs. Now Shashwat and Yashika, you guys are right. Indeed, that's the correct one. Having a fortune teller living next to the door. The one who can foresee the future. Where did Mrs. Fitzgerald learn to tell the future? In the beginning of the session itself, I told you that it has some association with India. India being called as the land of snake charmers, a land of superstitious people. So where is India according to the people who are living in the Great Britain? Right, Shashwat, right, Nidhi. Options were though the West, the East, the Middle East are not mentioned in the story. Agreed, guys. Yes, Nidhi, Shashwat and Yashika, that's the correct one. That's the East. Perfect, guys. Perfect, and perfect. How does Mrs. Pearson describe her family members? Thoughtless and selfish, pleasant and helpful, hardworking or mindful? Very good, Shashwat. Indeed, that's the correct one. That she called them thoughtless and selfish. Agreed. Yes, that's the correct one. Right, Nidhi. Yashika, I'm still waiting. You there? If yes, then please mention the answer. So indeed, that's the correct one. Yes, that's the correct one. Thoughtless and selfish. Next question. In what endeavor does Mrs. Fitzgerald help Mrs. Pearson? So in what context does Mrs. Fitzgerald, help Mrs. Pearson? To see future, to make her family treat her well, to run errands, or none of the above? Errands means to help her in household chores, or we can also mention work. Very good, Shashwat. Agreed. Yes, that's the correct one. So that was the whole objective of hers, that she wants her family, that's Mrs. Pearson's family, to treat her well. That's the correct one. What about the other scholars in the class? Are we all going with option B? Right, Yashika? Yeah, that's the correct one. Next question. How would you describe Mrs. Pearson? The question is on Mrs. Pearson. Yes, so how would you describe Mrs. Pearson? Dominating, yeah, considerate, complaint, or both B and C? What according to you is the one? Okay. Shashwat, by any chance are you even reading the questions? Because I'm impressed with your speed though. Okay, indeed, right, Yashika and Shashwat. Yes, that's the correct one, that she was considerate, and yes, indeed, she was complaining. How does Mrs. Fitzgerald plan to leave Mrs. Pearson? By talking to Mrs. Pearson's family, by listening to Mrs. Pearson's rants. Rants means, like when you speak about. Was she complimenting? No. Compliment. Yeah, and आपका वाला जो compliment है Shashwat, that is wherein we use that in grammar, complementary clauses or the sentences, and that's wherein we use it, right? Okay, we've already done that by swapping personalities with Mrs. Pearson. Right. Right. How does Mrs. Fitzgerald plan to help Mrs. Pearson? By talking to Mrs. Pearson's family, by listening to Mrs. Pearson's rants, by swapping personalities with Mrs. Pearson, or both A and B. So yes, that's the correct one. Oh, okay. Huh, that's true. That was a compliment for you, for sure. Next question. Mrs. Pearson was dash about Mrs. Fitzgerald's plan. Swapping means taken over. Yeah, if I taken over. मतलब अगर A यहाँ है, B यहाँ पे है, that's their position. So A has come here and B has come here. That means taken over. Positions change कर लेना. Yeah, change कर लेना is called a swap. Okay. Mrs. Pearson was dash about Mrs. Fitzgerald's plan. Excited, hesitant, sure, or she was envious. Okay. Adla badli. Too damn in the word, but yeah, that's how it defines it well. Right. G. Right. Okay. Yes, that's the correct one. That she was little bit hesitant. Not little bit though. She was damn hesitant. Yes. Right, Yashika. That's the correct one. Right. Okay. The next question. What is the first thing that Doris does as soon as she enters the house? Asks her mother to give her tea. Asks her mother to cook something for her. Asks her mother about her day, or asks her mother to iron her yellow silk. Very good, Shashwat. You are nailing it today, Shashwat. I'm impressed. I am so very impressed. Paras, hi. Myself, DR. Okay. Doctor of what? Yes, that's agreed. That's right. True. Ask her mother to iron her yellow silk. Perfect, bacha. Next question. What makes Doris astounded? Astounded means shocked. As soon as she enters the house. Yes, the sight of her mother smoking. Oh, hi, Dr. Strange. How are you? I thought the way you mentioned doctor, no, I literally, for a second I was like, yes, that's you. Because the tea was not ready, because her mother was not there, or none of the above. Okay, Shashwat. Right. Right, my boy, right. Right, guys, that's the correct one. The sight of her mother smoking, because till now she didn't even ever see her mother smoking at all. So that was an astounding scene for her to witness. Where was Doris headed for the night? So where was she planning to go? She had to work overtime. She was going out with Charlie Spence. She was going for her mother's birthday. Sorry, her friend's birthday. Or she had some appointment which she was supposed to catch up with. Dr. Strange, if you have graced my class, so kindly help me in attempting these questions. That's 14th B. As per Shashwat, she was going out with Charlie Spence. What was the relationship between Charlie Spence and Doris Bacha? Oh yes, agreed on that. Shashwat or Yashika, can you please tell me what was the relationship between Charlie Spence and Doris? Oh yes, Dr. Strange. Yeah. Any idea what was the relationship between these two people? They were seeing each other. Yes, that was the thing. Buck teeth and half-witted? Who has been described here? Cyril Pearson, George Pearson, Charlie Spence, or Mrs. Fitzgerald? Buck teeth and half-witted. Who has been described here? Cyril Pearson, George Pearson. Oops, Yashika. Doubt? What is the doubt? Where are you facing problem, bacha? Please tell me. Yeah. For 15, that's Charlie's pens. So that's what she addressed. I am back. Okay. So that's what she's addressed. That's what she was saying for Charlie's pens, that he has got buck teeth. Yeah, they were seeing each other. They were in relationship. Right. Yes, they were. That's Charlie's pens. 16th question. What are the changes? I repeat, what are the changes that Mrs. Pearson referred to Cyril? What all changes did she see in her? Change in the way she is treated by the family, changes in her daily routine, changes related to her work, or none of the above. Right, Shashwat, that's correct. 16th A, Shashwat, Nidhi. Nidhi also disappeared for a time being. Oh yes, that's a correct one, my children. My scholars. Oh yes. That changed in the way she is treated by her family. Indeed, Yashika, Shashwat and Nidhi, that's the correct one. Perfect. Why was Doris red-eyed? Shashwat, can you please write? Please? Anyway, okay. Why was Doris red-eyed? Because of an infection, because of a fight, because of a crying, because she was getting ready to head out. Okay, Nidhi, no problem. Wishing you the same, Dr. Strange. Why was Doris red-eyed? Bahut time lagta hai. Shashwat, do you really think this is an appropriate answer to give to your teacher? Just because it, and how long it takes to write Please. Right, Nidhi and Yashika, you guys are true. You guys are so correct here. That's because of crying. Well, she's ignore that. Ignore that. No, Shashwat is Shashwat, Nidhi. Paris is Dr. Strange. Okay. Wishing you the same, Yashika. Well, she's suddenly all different. Who said this and for whom? Cyril for Doris, Doris for her mother, Cyril for her mother, or George for Doris? Well, she's suddenly all different. Okay, Shashwat. Right. Right. Dude, it's my favorite ma'am. Name, respect. It's my father's name. Okay, respect. Okay. Yeah, that's 18B or C. You are confused between 18B and C. That is actually Doris said these words for her mother. Right? Okay. How does the author describe George Pearson? Pompous, solemn, 50-ish, or all of the above? How does the author describe George Pearson? Pompous, solemn, 50-ish, or all of the above? 19th D as per Shashwat. Okay. What about the others in the class? Nidhi, Yashika. 19th A? Check out the question again, Nidhi. Yeah. Right, so that's the correct one. All ka matlab wahi hai, 90%. That's all actually. A, B, C. What does George's reaction when he saw his wife drinking stout during daytime? Okay, Dr. Strange. What was George's reaction when he saw his wife drinking stout during daytime? He did not like it, he did not mind, he accompanied her, or he ignored her. Yashika, we are on 20th. We have got 30 questions altogether, and that ways we will be done with this chapter. Okay, right, Shashwat. Indeed, that's the correct one. That he did not like it, right? He did not like that his wife was drinking during the day. Right, Nidhi and Yashika? Mrs. Pearson tells George that he is being dashed at the club, respected, laughed upon, called names, or both B and C. Yeah, Mrs. Pearson tells George that he is being respected, laughed upon, called by names, or both B and C. 21D as per Shashwat and Nidhi. What about you, Yashika? Correct. Next question. According to Mrs. Pearson, where Cyril had been wasting his time and money? Races, ice, shows, both A and B, or clubbing? So as per her, where was he wasting his money? Races, ice, shows, both A and B, or basically your clubbing? 22. No problem, Dr. Strange. Take your time. Just a second. What went wrong here? वैसे B और C तो एक ही बात है ना. Question 21. Question 21. Laughed upon and called names. No, when you're laughing at somebody and you're calling by names, they're different things, right? 22, you don't know. Okay, bacha, that's actually, he was betting money. He was betting on races and ice shows. So that is 21, B and C. It's that silly old bat from next door, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Who said this? Doris, Cyril, George, or Mrs. Pearson? It's that old silly bag. Sorry, it's that silly old bag. 23B, Yashika 23B. Perfect. Nidhi, I'm waiting for you. It's that silly old bag from next door, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Who said this? Doris, Cyril, George, or Mrs. Pearson? Yes, that's the correct one. Cyril said this for her. Okay, Nidhi. What does George mean when he says we are at 6s and 7s here? Okay, Ashika, no problem. What does George mean when he says we are at 6s and 7s here? In a state of confusion and disorder, in the middle of a conflict, in the middle of taking a decision, or in a state of agony. Agony means anger, rage, fight. 21, 24A, and Nidhi is going with B. Nidhi, that's not the correct one. Actually, we are at 6s and 7s. It's a proverb, which means in a state of confusion and disorder. Yeah, there's a hell lot of confusion and disorder. That's a proverb, which means we are at 6s and 7s here. Right, bacha? When do Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald get back to their original self? So when they swap back to their original personalities. When Mrs. Pearson's family gets to know about them, when they both get bored, when the situation goes out of hand, or none of the above. When did they decide to swap their positions? Very good, Nidhi and Shashwat. Indeed, that's the correct one. When the situation simply was slipping out of their hands. Right, guys. Mrs. Pearson's family had been dashed towards Mrs. Pearson. So Mrs. Pearson's family had been respectful, polite, biased, or unattractive. Sorry, unappreciative. What's wrong with me? Sorry. Was okay. Very good. Very good. Okay, Nidhi, that's the correct one. Unappreciative. Perfect. 27th. Mrs. Fitzgerald asked Mrs. Pearson to be Rude with her family, polite with her family, ignorant with her family, or firm with her family? Kalyani Singh is. I'm slipping out with the name. Okay, 27D. Very good, guys. That she's supposed to be firm. She's supposed to be stringent. She's supposed to be adamant with whatever she has decided. If she'll fall back, if she'll be again nice and naive with them, they're not going to consider her values. Right, Vineet? Hi. What does Mrs. Pearson suggest them to do for that night? What does Mrs. Pearson suggest them to do for that night? Family game of rummy, getting the supper ready. Supper means the light dinner. Hi, Vineet. Both A and B or none of the above? Very good, Nidhi, Shashwat and Vineet. That's the correct one. Family game of rummy and getting the supper ready. 29th. The attitude of Mrs. Pearson's family changes towards her. Comment. No, yes, maybe, not clear from the story. What do you think is the best suitable answer for this question? 29B as per Shashwat. Okay. What about the others in the class? Yes, children, Nidhi, Vineet. Okay. Right, that's the correct one. Maybe, because see, we aren't certain, right? We aren't so sure about it. So yes, that's the correct one. Maybe. There is a high probability, but yeah, still we have to go with maybe. Last question for the day. What message does the author of Mother's Day try to convey? To appreciate wives, mothers for their work? To work hard for your mother? To spend time with family, or to respect everyone? Okay, Vineet. Right, Shashwat, Nidhi, Vineet. Perfect, guys, perfect. To appreciate wives, mothers for their work. Right, guys. So that's the plan. Happy Makar Sankranti to all of you. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Wishing you the same, children. Have a nice and safe one. Don't be there on the terrace throughout the time. Take care of your fingers because exams are approaching and you need to write down, you need to pen down your answers. So don't go that, don't get gaga over it. You need to relax a bit, okay? Happy Lohri to all of you. Oh yes, आज क्यों विश कर रहे हैं सब? क्योंकि शाश्वत कल YouTube पे क्लास नहीं होंगी. Although tomorrow we're going to see each other exactly at 11 o'clock on our special class, because that's wherein we will going to see the MCQs of the chapter, the Browning's version. So don't miss out tomorrow's class. That will be there for 30 minutes to the max, because we will going to see the question answers and that's how we're going to cover it up. Yeah. Oh yes, oh yes, 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 today's Lori. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, yes, my kids. Right. So that's there, and in this fashion, children, we will going to cover all the chapters whichever are coming in your course of CBSE snapshots. So that's how we're going to cover all the content, the characters, the themes, the chapters in this way. NCERT questions will be done similarly, and that's how we will going to attempt the MCQ questions in this fashion. So please be regular to these classes. So in in couple of days, hardly like 6-7 days, you'll be done and dusted with your snapshots. Right, children? So that's there, and I hope to see all of you soon, and try, as I've already told you, try to be regular with these sessions. And happy Makar Sankranti to all of you. Have a safe one, and do take care of yourself. With that, I'm going to take leave from here. हाँ नहीं, अब नहीं लगता शाश्वत पहले लगा करता था. I think I've got used to it now. So yes, that's there. With that, I'm going to take leave from here. Have a nice time ahead, and bye-bye.